Okay, good morning everybody and welcome to ITHive.org's Saturday morning live tech show, episode 71, August, oh no, sorry, not August, it's clearly not August, sorry, February the 9th, I believe we are today, 2019. So today we're going to talk about virtual machines. But of course, like any time, if you're watching this live, feel free to ask questions. That's really what we're here for, answer anybody's questions. So, if you ever have tech questions, Saturday morning, this is the place to be. Anyway, so virtual machines. Why are we talking about that? Well, as always, when you own a business, right, you're always looking for ways and opportunities to improve things. So, and I'm no different. So this week I came across a service that I think could be very valuable to my customers, and I'm not going to, I'm not ready to really talk about what that is yet because I don't know if I'm going to go forward with it or not. But anyway, what it required of me is to own a server. Now, for those of you that have ever owned a physical server, it can be an expensive proposition, and you have to, make sure it's backed up. You have to worry about all kinds of things, right? The hardware, you got to worry about, that classic thing that I always talk about, boom, if that server's gone, how does it affect your business? Obviously, it might be significant, right? So, I thought, well, hey, this is a perfect opportunity to get in the virtual machine world, right? Which is something I've had on my plate, but again, as a business owner, you're always prioritizing things, and okay, what should I do now? What should I do next, and stuff like that. So it never really ventured up to the top of the priority list. So this opportunity did. So yesterday, I provisioned a server from Microsoft Azure site. It's physically located in central Canada. I set this up in maybe about an hour or so, right? And it's running now. I installed the software I needed on it and all that stuff. It's a little touch and go because it was new to me to, get all the things, and but and it'd still be a bit of a learning process, I'm sure. But I gotta tell you, so in Canadian dollars, this server is going to cost me $14 a month, 2 cents an hour. You just can't beat that if you actually own a physical server, right? Anybody that's gone down that road can be a really expensive proposition, right? So $14 a month. I got a server in the cloud and all set. Now, further to that, right? I think where this might lead me on a much bigger scale is I might end actually creating the virtual office, right? So, because the Microsoft service, you can actually create any kind of machine you want, right? And you can have them all working together like a virtual network, right? You can literally create a virtual office. And then if you have employees or so, you can assign them those virtual machines, and you're in complete control of that environment, right? And you can control the security from a central server that's also in the cloud. And moving forward for us, I think as we grow as an organization, our techs and employees and stuff like that will actually use the virtual world to operate, right? It just makes sense. So that's just one example of that. And the nice thing with this is that, so I'm thinking, okay, well, I can do all that, right? But then, so what does that mean for me locally? Because obviously you still need a computer, right? If I go down this road and have all this set up, what do I need? I need a machine that can access the internet. So now suddenly I can use like a Chromebook or something like that and just access my Windows environment in the cloud, right? And do all that. So a lot cheaper hardware costs, physical costs, right? And I don't really have to worry about the hardware that all my stuff is actually on, because that's somebody else's responsibility. That's why I'm paying $14 a month or whatever, right? So a lot more cost effective, right? Now, something to say about the virtual environment. Not always practical. So you have to understand the business needs before going down this road, right? You have to really understand, okay, what is the business trying to achieve? What do you need? What are you trying to accomplish, right? What software is involved? What applications are you supporting? Is it going to make sense? Is it going to work, right? So there's a lot of vetting that needs to go on with that, and and that's important to do that analysis, right? You can't just jump in there, right? Now, as a service offering to my customers, again, I'm not there. I have to do the math and do the figuring out and stuff like that. But I'm getting used to this environment, and it's going to be a bit of a learning curve. But I can predict that in the future, we can have a service that will offer virtual machines to our clients and manage those machines and whatnot, right? So stay tuned, because I think that's going to be an offering that'll be there, and maybe in the short term, right? I just have to see. I have to work the numbers, figure out, how that's going to work. The other thing, when we talk about backup, right? Backup can be a very, it can be cost effective. You just do file backup, fairly inexpensive, right? But if you're doing image backup and availability and all that stuff, right, that can be very, very expensive, right? And I've always tried to challenge, okay, how can I actually make that process more economical for my customers, right? Well, not going to get into the details, but with my access to my virtual world, I am going to do some testing and some vetting and development of a backup process, right, that might be quite cost effective and allow my customers to back up their critical systems, but not necessarily have a full-fledged monthly cost for that service, right? So again, I got to do some exploration and some investigation on how that's going to work, and develop that the process around that and the costs and whatnot. So again, stay tuned. So I guess in summary, what I'm getting to here is that the virtual world does have its place. It is growing and maturing, right? I always knew that it existed, and I played around with it and stuff like that. However, never really used it for practical terms, and now we're into that world. I think one of the things that was holding me back is that with technology, it's good to be aware of the current trends, right? But I don't have time necessarily to be on the bleeding edge, right? I'll always go there before my customers, right? Like I'm doing, right? But being too far close to that bleeding edge, that newness in technology, can be very time consuming and expensive, right? And quite frankly, I don't have both those things, right? So I have to be careful. So, we're there now. I think, Microsoft has rolled out physical data centers in Canada now, where they're doing their virtual environment. It's very important for me that because I'm Canadian and all my customers are Canadian, that everything we do here stays in this country. Very important. So that was one thing that we were waiting for, right? And all that's there now. It's the infrastructure's there. So that's good, right? We're moving forward. And, I think that we will use this and sell this as a service, and we'll talk to customers about that inevitability and process. So, stay tuned, and that'll come. Okay. I don't know if there's anything else I wanted to talk about this week. Really big, just basically virtual machines. So, I won't make it any longer than it needs to be. And the benefits. I think we'll be talking a little bit more about this moving forward, and as we get things going. Hopefully just a little teaser. If the solution I'm investigating and looking into actually pans out and it works, and I can make it work financially within the current business model, then I think my customers are going to see some pretty exciting things coming. So we're there. You run a business, you should always be improving it and making it better and investing in it. Always continuous improvement. And ITHive.org, that's what we do, right? We're never going to stay the same as what we're doing. We're always going to look for ways to make things better, listen to our customers, understand their human needs behind technology, and figure out ways to deliver that, right? Because technology is an important aspect of our life. We need to be aware of it. We need to understand it, right? But we all don't need to be techs, right? So we just need the education so that we can make informed decisions and have our stuff protected and whatnot. Okay, so anyway, that's it for this week. Again, join me next Saturday, 10 o'clock, and for episode 72. And if you got ideas of what you want to talk about or what you want to see, just let me know. And until then, we'll be there. Okay? We'll talk to you later. See ya. Bye.